I asked you and Pomp half jokingly on Monday if this Baker Mayfield thing gets to the point where they just cut him and you could just pick him up for basically nothing. Would you do it if you were the Steelers? I got asked the same question in my mailbag. Let's be honest here. As much as I love Mitch Trubisky, and oh, do I love Mitch Trubisky, he is Mitch Trubisky in the end. It's not like they have an incumbent quarterback here.
Man, you've jumped off of that train as it's moving. Mike Tomlin talks about jumping on the train. You're jumping off the train.
He's Mitch Trubisky, for God's sakes, Ron. I think he's going to be very good. But come on, if you have a chance to bring in a 26 Baker? Player.
Number one overall pick.
Who just had a really good year 2 years ago. I mean, plus, can you imagine what it would do for us in this business?
It'd be great. Plus, he could move into Heinz Field.
But you and I and Pump theorizing about it is one thing. Mary Kay Cabot has been covering the Cleveland Browns for a long, long time, and she's one of the most respected beat writers in the NFL. Would you agree with that?
I would.
Why don't we hear what Mary Kay said on a podcast? Horst tells me this was today. The story was picked up by SI.com. Listen to her talk about Baker. You ready for this, Ron?
I'm ready.
I knew as of Thursday that the phone was not ringing off the hook for Baker Mayfield and that this might get a little bit challenging. But as I said before, I had somebody tell me today, and I put this in the rewrite that I just did, that the Steelers will pounce on Baker Mayfield if he becomes available. Like if they cut him and he's just out there as a street free agent, that they would take him in a minute. And I'm sure a lot of people would. I mean, if you can get him for nothing.
Her sources tell her the Steelers would pounce on Baker Mayfield if he becomes available. Do you believe that?
I could see that. Only if he becomes available. They're not going to trade for him. They're not going to give anything up for him. They're not going to pick up that contract. But if they can sign him for a one-year deal or even like Trubisky, they got the money to do that. I would think that would not be such a bad idea and let him compete.
I thought you were going to poo-poo this, Ron. I'm happy that you're not.
I don't think that it's going to happen. But again, I wouldn't be shocked by it if the price is absolutely zero or, minimum.
The Steelers will pounce.
I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe.
Oh, wait a second. Do you or don't you?
I don't believe they will pounce. But if they do, I would be okay with it.
All right. So you don't believe they will?
I don't believe they will.
You don't believe that's in there? They wouldn't be interested in Mayfield.
Yeah, he comes with a lot of baggage, too. Certainly not like Deshaun Watson, but baggage of his own. Players have quit on him in Cleveland. I think of OBJ and, Kareem Hunt. Didn't his dad rip him? They've ripped him as a teammate. I just think with Trubisky that they made their choice.
Have they?
It wouldn't shock me, but it would surprise me.
I'm asking this honestly. Have they ripped him as a quarterback or as a teammate? I know Beckham's father ripped him as a quarterback.
The attacks seemed personal.
From who?
Kareem Hunt's father, I think, was one of them, if I'm not mistaken.
I haven't seen widespread, and I could be wrong, players taking shots at him. Maybe it's assumed that they didn't like him as a teammate. I honestly am not positive about that. But here's what I know is, and I'm not trying to make Baker Mayfield out to be, I don't even know if he's a good quarterback. I don't know yet. He was good 2 years ago. He was. In fact, I just said with you and Pomp, I don't think that this guy really sees the field the way that you would want an elite quarterback to see it. But I do know this.
Mama didn't raise a wuss.
In 2020, and he was hurt this past season. I've given the benefit of the doubt to Trubisky for a similar injury, if not the same injury, torn labrum in the non-throwing shoulder.
Making a tackle after an interception.
Torn labrum in the non-throwing shoulder, I believe it was for him. And all you have to do is mimic a throwing motion, and you'll see that could affect you, and it did. And it affected Trubisky running, and I think it may have affected Baker all the way around. But 2 years ago, Ron, he had 26 touchdowns, 8 picks, a 96 rating, and he took the Browns to their first playoff win in forever. You might remember that game.
I do remember something about that game.
Completion percentage a little bit low. Do I think the Steelers, do I believe Mary Kay's sources that they would pounce on Baker Mayfield in a minute? No, not necessarily. I don't. But like you, would I be shocked if it was the case?
No.
Like, I could be very wrong
Now,
about that.
if you go out and get him, does he automatically become number one? Do you put him ahead of Trubisky, or do you let him compete?
I have the most epic quarterback competition, but let me finish that thought.
Okay.
I don't think they would. I could be very wrong about that. Do I think they should if he becomes available for next to nothing? Yes, of course.
Never say never, but never. Okay?
And I'm on the I'm the conductor of the damn Trubisky train, Ron. I'm not just on it. I'm conducting it. When I go through little towns, kids come out and wave to me. I'm the conductor when the little gate goes up, right, horse? With the little fence, the sound, the train whistle, and the gate goes up, kids run out of their houses, and I'm the guy with the hat on, the special conductor's hat, Ron, and I wave to all the kids as I go through every little town in Pennsylvania and Ohio where Trubisky is from. But do I think they should? Yes. What harm can it do? You get rid of Rudolph, you get rid of Haskins too, and you let these two battle it out. Two supremely talented guys, for whatever else you want to say about them. They both have talent enough to where they were the number. Mayfield was 1.
And Trubisky was 2.
Was 2. And how good would that be for us on top of everything else?
Oh, it would be great.
The Steelers will pounce.
That would be
a great line.
That would be great.
All right, let's open the phone lines. I believe we did this topic, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. Remember, we opened up the lines and people went crazy. So here's the key for me, Ron. You and I both, I want to make sure that you and I are on the same page.
Okay.
We're taking this topic out of the realm of ridiculous and actually giving it at least a little bit of credence.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. 412-928-9370. 928-9370. Here are the facts as we know them. Mary Kay Cabot is a widely respected veteran reporter in the NFL. She felt comfortable enough based on her sources to say on a podcast, and then she said she went back and rewrote her story, I guess for Cleveland.com, that the Steelers would, quote, pounce on Baker Mayfield.
If he's released.
Pounce. Pounce. What does that mean, Ron? Kevin Colbert actually jumps on him? And Colbert and Tomlin tackle him?
They tackle him.
They'd have plenty of company from last season, right? He didn't do a real good job evading the rush last season. So they would sack Baker Mayfield here and bring him to Pittsburgh. And you better believe he'd love to come here.
Oh, to play the Browns twice a year? Be great.
Where else?
Who else we're going to talk about the quarterback carousel.
Yeah.
Who else needs quarterbacks? Seattle?
Seattle's the only one. Horse, did you listen to the whole podcast? What did she say? Is anybody but Seattle even rumored to be interested? Maybe Carolina?
Carolina, too.
She said that he prefers Carolina over Seattle.
He wanted Indianapolis.
Good for him. I don't think Baker's any longer in a position where what he prefers
he
matters.
Wanted in. Well, Indy he wanted, and they traded for Matt Ryan.
I would think that if his people presented to him the idea that Baker, nobody has an open spot for you who wants you. Pittsburgh will pounce on you, and you have to compete with Mitchell Trubisky. I think that he would jump on that. He would pounce on that, Ron.
I would absolutely pounce.
There's a lot of pouncing going on.
There's a lot
here.
of pouncing
They
going
should bring
on.
back Pouncey to play with him.
Pounce and Pouncey.
This is interesting, isn't it? I didn't expect this today. Did you?
I did not. But they got to release him first. They're going to try to trade.
I know.
They're going to try to get a draft choice for him.
That's very true. 412-928-9370. 928-9370. Those are the facts. What do you want me to say here? When I brought up the topic 3 weeks ago, I think it was, in the realm of theoretical and maybe ridiculous. When I asked Bob and Ron yesterday about it, I was half joking. I was. Somebody asked me in my mailbag today, how did I answer this, Ron?
Never say never, but never, okay?
May I look at this? And I'm going to answer it here.
I just wonder if, this is like, though, Florio's report that the Steelers had a trade already
Do we know that they didn't?
We don't. I just wonder, though. I don't believe that they did. I just wonder how serious this report is. And I have great respect for Mary Kay. Don't
Right.
get me wrong.
Right.
But I have respect for Florio, too.
Well, there's always.
And I thought he was dead wrong, but
he may have been.
may have been.
I'm not convinced that he was, but he may have been. You know how it goes.
Right.
Sources, depending on who they are, have
sometimes guys throw
an interest in what happens in the end.
Sometimes guys throw stuff against the wall and hope it sticks, too. I
know,
truly
but
believe
I don't
that.
think. Yeah, but do you think she did that?
No, I'm not saying her in general. I'm just saying, the Florio report's one that bothered me a little bit. I just don't think there was any truth that this was more legitimate.
Yeah,
but I don't believe
What's
it's
the
going to
word?
happen.
The word I'm looking for is that sources are invested and are biased in some way. Like if it's my client and I'm an agent,
I want people to think everybody's looking at him.
But they know that. If you went back on the Steelers beat like you were, what was it, Ron, 30 years ago, and you had an agent call you and tell you something, your first thought would be, well, okay, now I need to vet that.
I'm going to check it out, yes.
So I'm assuming that Mary Kay, as one of the best in the business, does that too. I'm assuming she wouldn't go on a podcast and say that if she didn't believe it to be true. Does that mean it's true?
Pounce.
Not necessarily.
Right.
But I respect her enough to believe that she vetted her sources.
I hear you.
So there we go. 412-928-9370.
So what number does Baker wear?
Baker wears number 7. He takes Ben's number.
Right,
Ron?
I don't think they're giving out Ben's number this year.
Yes, I was asked about this. I'll tell you what I said next on my intergalactically read mailbag. But this is very, very interesting. Are you up for a Baker Mayfield Trubisky battle in camp? Should it come to that? Should Baker get released and the Steelers pounce on him? 412-928-9370.